just when you think that things in this case couldn't get any more bizarre, we hear the US Sun reporting, and look. I get it, it's the US Sun, so we have to take what's said with a pinch of salt. But what I would say is it's a bit of a brazen statement to make if you are fabricating something for clicks and views, do you know what I mean? And I know there's going to be a lot of people with different thoughts, but I would say that this is true. I would go out on a limb here and say, despite its source, I would say that it's true, and that is that Kiely has indeed been cremated in a private situation with the family, and I'm guessing close friends. That might explain why we're hearing rumours of Jagger living with Lindsay and alongside Kate. Now, I'm not 100% sure about that because we've obviously seen recent TikTok videos showing Kate at what appears to be college. So I don't know whether she's staying at Lindsay's house and going to college from there. Who knows? And if I'm brutally honest, I don't really want to talk anymore about that little narcissist just yet. So what we're addressing here is the fact that, look, it would appear that Kiely's been cremated. And that goes hand in hand with the fact that we're seeing released reports on the death certificate with a pending cause of death. And look, that's not unusual. I've seen some people utilise that as kind of saying, look, it must be foul play because we've got this, and that's not entirely how it happens. Obviously, there's two elements to somebody's death, and that is the mechanics of it. So how did they die? And then what caused that. So in Kiely's case, it could well be that the autopsy has shown that she did indeed drown, so the cause of death is drowning, but now it's about finding out what the cause of that situation was, whether it was misadventure, whether it was drugs involved, so on and so forth, whether there was anything else that would have appeared strange within the autopsy, and they're trying to kind of put the bigger picture together. It's obviously being looked into, certainly. If it was just clear cut, I would imagine that by now we would have seen a completed autopsy and we would have had reports out that she's drowned, and they're calling it misadventure or whatever. But look, we can't immediately utilise that piece of information to say that this was 100% foul play. But this cremation situation, this does again fuel the fire, no pun intended, with regards to the speculation surrounding foul play. Now, why would you be in such a rush to have a cremation done when we don't even have a cause of death? Because my mindset, and this is only me, it would be, look, unless they've been told, and what I will say, a side note, they may already know or have been given kind of, look, we're 99% sure this is it, and this is just a case of dotting the I's and crossing the T's. They may have that information. Now, whether I would trust that, I don't know, and I'm going to come to that in a bit. But look, I wonder why the hurry, and I wonder why the hush. They've done this big celebration of life, which they're kind of using that as, we had the cremation, and this is why we did the celebration of life, which I guess makes sense. But there has been so much public kind of interjection here, and it hasn't all been bad. There are people who have speculated, of course they have. I myself have stated what I've thought about certain things, and I stand by what I've said. I don't say anything and then feel bad about saying it. It's there, and it's there to be said. And my mindset is, we as a society have to learn to call people out when there are mistakes made, because if we don't, this is just going to continuously happen. It's going to continue because people don't understand what they're doing comes with these risks, and there seems to be a huge detachment nowadays between the child and the parent. It's hard. People don't understand that being a parent is likely to make your child hate you. But look, if you're in it for popularity, don't have a kid, go out and get some more friends. Because raising a child is hard, and a lot of the time they're going to hate you for the decisions that you make, but you make decisions to keep them safe. Anyway, I digress again. And look, so with regards to this cremation, it like I say, it fuels that fire of corruption, because it's almost like they're rushing it. They're trying to rush through. And that rushed feeling, that when it feels like people are being pushed and ushered along, let's get on, let's move on, let's get it all sorted and done and dusted and move. I don't get it. I don't understand. Because from what I see, there are so many questions. Now, like we saw in the Michael Vaughan case, and we saw Brandy Neal, who was not there when Michael went missing, she very, very quickly sort of accepted the version of events who were there with Michael. And I know it was her partner, so it makes it harder to question it, but ultimately they weren't there. And I hear so many other people say, look, regardless of whether it was my partner or not, if something doesn't sit 100% right, then you have to raise questions. And with the Kiely Rodni case, there are a lot of questions. Now, I put myself in Kylie's mum's position, and I think to myself, right, so what does she know if she's no further in the light than we are? And that is that her daughter went to a party with seniors, a lot of older kids. And some of these kids are highly likely to be involved in law enforcement. Multiple law enforcements. This was a community where I think it would have been hard for the kids who went there to not be, connected to some form of law enforcement, or we've heard the fire brigade being mentioned as well. So children whose parents have a position of influence in the community. Now, when you take that in mind, we've also currently got a situation where the tow truck storyline would place Kylie's vehicle somewhere else the following morning at 11 a.m. Now, unless Lindsay has been given information that is not connected, then that would explain it. But then my argument would be, then why can't law enforcement, if the family already know, and law enforcement can see that this is already kind of causing the speculation, then why wouldn't they just do a short statement saying, look, it's not anything to do with it. We've investigated it. The family are aware. This is not connected. I don't understand it. The only reason that law enforcement should be withholding information if it is to protect the integrity of a case. Now, with everything being rushed and Kylie's family being so accepting of this current narrative being pushed forward by kids who were with her, then I can only it leads me to believe that she's been told it's an accident. I don't get it. I don't get it. So she knows that a child went to this party. She knows that around that party there was periods of time when the phone, the location services were switched off, so she wouldn't have known where her child was. That these children left her. They left her there. And the stories that they give on the interviews that they've given, even that raises questions and eyebrows because of the way in which they're saying it. And the contradictions that they themselves raise. And any person with half a brain in this situation, I feel, would be like, hold on, she said this and now she's saying that. It doesn't make sense. Do you know what I mean? I can't work it out. I can't work it out why the mother is not asking more questions. Not kicking out about law enforcement and the fact that there was seemingly divers in the water, and that would appear that these divers that we showed a picture of previously, they were volunteer divers, and they had been given instruction from law enforcement to only be looking for the phone and not to be going any further than 25 feet into the water. So what were they trying to do? What were they just thinking about safety? Were they feeling that the phone couldn't be any further than 25 feet out? Or did they know something was beyond that marker, so they didn't want them going further? All these questions are valid questions. It's not about conspiracy theory. It's not about pushing fake narratives. It's about looking at the information that we have in front of us and understanding that there are questions. And if we, who are not Kylie's parents, we're not her family, are kind of standing there a lot of the time with mouths wide open, I don't understand why the mother isn't. I don't get it. Now, is she scared? Is she afraid of what's going on around this area? Was she involved? Does she know what happened? And is she protecting those left behind? And was this just a decision to quickly move along, to cremate Kiely and in effect get rid of a huge proportion of evidence should the toxicology report come back and say that she was full of alcohol or drugs or something, and they wanted that hidden? Because I would imagine at the moment, if that toxicology test comes back and it just states that she had alcohol, or there was no alcohol, no nothing, it was clear, what would the dad do? Or imagine if it come back and said there was fentanyl in the system, what would the dad do? Would there be a reason for there to be some form of conflict that would request a toxicology report to be redone? And now it cannot be. Kiely is now out of the equation completely in her physical form. So now nothing can be questioned. There can be no second autopsy. There can be no second toxicology report. Nothing can now be argued. And someone facilitated that. Someone pushed that through very, very quickly. Because in my eyes, and I'm sure in a lot of your eyes, this is far from over. This case is far from over. And to all the naysayers and the people who are out there now and just saying, look, this was an accident and you guys are all just pushing all this stuff for clicks and views. No, I'm not. Now, I'm here because I give a shit. I look at things, I look at the cases, I look at the things that are happening, what people are saying. And if it looks suspect, then I'm going to call it out. And if you don't like it, just don't watch. Get off the channel. Go and watch someone that you enjoy watching. There are millions of videos uploaded every day. In fact, I think billions of videos uploaded every day. A lot. You certainly don't need to be around this niche and just whinging and fucking moaning because we are doing videos to raise awareness of these cases and calling out shit if and when we see it. I'll catch you all in the next one.